Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thoughtful Thursday. So what we've been unpacking this week are the fundamentals of KOI tutoring services. And we started by looking at obstacles. We talked about that the other day. And yesterday we talked about learned failure and how often students don't reach their potential because of that. We talked about leaving false narratives behind. And now we're going to get started with the fundamental number 3, and that goes like this: successful learning requires scaffolding. So just like I've explained on my website, I firmly believe in the dominant metaphors of pathways and building, right? We need to build step by step in order to get to our destination. So let's talk about scaffolding today. What do you know about scaffolding? Have you noticed scaffolding around buildings, or just going up, say, at the foundation of a building? Perhaps you've noticed this in a construction site. Maybe you have experience in construction. Okay, maybe you've had some work done on your house and that needed to involve scaffolding. All right, so why does scaffolding get built, and why is it everywhere around construction sites? Well, we know that scaffolding involves putting multiple pieces together in a secure way, step by step, to enable workers to build one step at a time. And if you notice here, the intricate scaffolding behind me is very, very well designed. It has to be inspected by engineers, so it involves some professional design. It's not random. And it has a purpose in mind. So scaffolding is always purpose driven. You're building toward a destination. There was a time when none of these scaffolds were here. All right, so what we're seeing here is a renovation of an older building. Okay, so it's getting refurbished, refinished, probably getting new windows. And the only way to really do that safely is to build a superstructure around it, so that people can walk up and hoist up materials. Okay, so this is pretty basic, building 101. How does this connect to learning? How does it connect to tutoring? How does it connect to, overcoming obstacles and leaving the learned failure behind? Well, scaffolding in terms of learning, in terms of teaching and learning and education and building skills, is certainly a universal component of learning. Okay, the scaffolding is in particular refers to the breaking down of a process into manageable steps and building knowledge out and up. So how do you do that? Well, just like I was saying the other day about slowing down and dismantling. This is really why this is a fundamental in my tutoring approach. What we need to do is slow down and then start from what we know, and then build out to tackle what we don't know. For example, if you know your basic adding and subtracting, that is the foundation for multiplication and division. Okay, you know this to be true. You've learned this in grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and very, very often, what is required, whether it's in math or in science, or even learning French vocabulary and learning those verbs and conjugating those verbs and figuring out the different tenses and so on, or even figuring out how to write an essay. These things all start with their component parts. Okay, and we have to learn in an organized way. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. So many students struggle and are struggling right at this moment because their brains are cluttered. Now, there may be other things going on beyond school, but the bottom line is school can be potentially a chaotic place. Let's look at high school. You've got lots, going on outside the classroom, in between the classroom, schedule that you've got. And then you come into a classroom, and then there are routines, and the routines vary. So, how can you learn in that context? Well, that's always the goal of any, dedicated educator. But what we're talking about now with tutoring is really, really slowing down and identifying, what the obstacles are, stopping the learned failure, leaving the false narratives behind, which gives us the headspace to start scaffolding some new skills. So if you know that 2 + 2 = 4, okay, and 5 + 5 = 10, that's a foundation for 2 × 5 = 10. And this is why I was, really emphasizing math the other day too, talking about how multiplication and division really, really has to be in our noggins, okay? And we scaffold out. Successful learners do not rush, and that's the #1 problem in education, where we tend to rush and teach to the middle, and some students get left behind. That's why tutoring's become so in such high demand. Okay. Successful learners do not rush, they plan, they are purposeful and methodical, and they get results. This is a universal as well, okay? This is, you learn how to ride a bicycle, you learn how to drive a car, it's one step at a time. You don't just get behind the wheel and shove it into first gear, all right, in a busy intersection. That's not really how you learn, and swimming is the same, and so it is with every skill. Without scaffolding, it's very difficult to learn and retain skills and knowledge. Okay, at some point after this photo was taken, the scaffolding went all the way to the top. The whole building was refurbished, and maybe it involves sandblasting. Chances are it involved about 25 different trades, or at least 10 different trades, 25 different skills, and then it slowly got dismantled, and there is the final product. Now, taking the scaffolding metaphor to its logical conclusion, we're talking about a completed learning skill. All right, and then of course that can go on to build up and out to learn further. Okay, so that's what I wanted to emphasize for today. Successful learning requires scaffolding, and please see the links below. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you soon. Bye for now.